Okay, today, victims' families told the Waay 31I team they're pleased some reform is coming to Alabama's Pardon and Parole Board. The governor and attorney general demanded the board show more respect to those families. Waay 31's Breken Terry shows you how one woman fought to make that respect a reality.
The woman you're about to hear from wrote letter after letter, emailed and called just about every lawmaker in the state asking them to pass the parole bill. She did all of this to fight for her brother, who was murdered, and demanded change.
He would have probably said, "I'm proud of you, sissy." That's probably what he said. He would have said, "Go get him. That's what you do. Go get him."
This is the person Tanya Hutto-Bass fought for, her brother Brian, who was murdered. His killer came up for an early parole hearing in October after only serving about 7 years on a life sentence. A mistake by the Pardon and Parole Board. The board said it canceled the hearing as soon as it learned of the mistake, but that did little to comfort Hutto-Bass.
Shocked and angered. You know, we didn't expect it to be early, let alone that early.
But she does find comfort in knowing Governor Kay Ivey and Attorney General Steve Marshall will have more oversight of the Pardon and Parole Board. And the soon-to-be law stops early paroles and strengthens victim notification.
It's given me confidence in the fact that the Attorney General and Governor Ivey will now have the control that they need over them to oversee this and, you know, maybe do the right changes that we need.
Changes the Waay 31I team uncovered. Parole Board leadership fought in these emails, calling the bill bad for the state.
The board needs to be held accountable. Personally, there needs to be a whole new board because this one has fought this tooth and nail the whole time. They've clearly showed that they do not care 1 ounce about the victims.
Bass thanks Senator Cam Ward and House Representative Connie Rowe and other state leaders for getting the parole bill passed.
I sent letters to everybody I could, talked to everybody I could. I mean, this is important, and it makes you step out of your own box.
Hutto-Bass told us the pain of losing someone to a violent crime never stops, but repeated errors by the parole board can.
You know, someone else doesn't have to go through this.
Parole Board Chairperson Lynn Head refuses to give Waay 31 a comment after the parole bill passed the Senate. In an interview earlier this month, she believes that the board is doing a good job in communicating with victims' families and said that this bill won't fix anything the public is concerned about. In Florence, Breken Terry, Waay 31 News.
The Waay 31I team investigated the parole board for almost a year, finding a series of flaws that led to a violent inmate named Jimmy Spencer being paroled. We found his parole officer didn't keep up with him. He was arrested while on parole, but was never sent back to prison. 6 months after he was paroled, he was arrested for murdering 3 people in Guntersville. The Waay 31I team also discovered the board did not properly notify burglary victims in cases, and they were calling violent inmates up for early parole hearings. The state recently paid Spencer's victims $1 million because of the board's mistakes. Now, the governor's office told us it doesn't have a time frame on when the bill will be signed because it's still in the review process, which is standard for any bill, but Governor Ivey said she will sign it. After it's signed into law, the changes will take effect in about 3 months.